Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, damsels and dingbats, to another random chit chat video. This is completely unscripted. I'm just gonna sit here and shoot the shit with you. So if I ramble a little bit, or I forget what I'm talking about, or you hear me yelling at dogs for tearing the walls out of my house, forgive me in advance. It's been a while since I've made any videos. The channel has been down due to technical difficulties. My fiance Tara, love of my life, mwah, 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 even though she doesn't watch my videos, she purchased me a pretty nice headphones setup for Christmas last year. And because I was complaining about how bad my audio quality was on these videos and whatnot. So she took it upon herself to get me a really nice, comfortable headset. It's got the whole noise canceling headphones. It's got the mic that can actually be taken out of the headphones if you don't want to use it, whatnot. Um, so that's why a lot of my last videos, the audio quality's been so much better. But anyway, the way this headphones works is they plug into an adapter. It's got one plug-in. A lot of the old headphone headsets had a plug-in that would plug into your mic port and it would plug into your headphones port. That way, it could receive signal from both your mic and send signal to your earphones. This has got one of those dual. It's just one jack. Both signals feed in and out of that one jack, and it plugs into a USB adapter that then plugs in, obviously, to a USB port. Very convenient. A lot of my stuff is either wireless or USB, so anything I can do to not take up 10 USB ports with one device is great. Really loving the headphones. I did crack them. The brace that goes over the top of the head, I did crack it because I've got a fat head. And so I've got like 6 layers of bacon duct tape wrapped around that to keep it together because I don't want to waste these headphones. But anyway, I had the computer down on the floor, and I've got these wires running back and forth. And if I'm not getting snagged up in them, not paying attention to what I'm doing, the dogs are constantly, specifically my English bulldog slash basset hound dog. His name's Biscuit. He loves to go under the desk. And every time he goes under the desk, I yell at him, "Get out from under the desk!" And of course, his first reaction is to turn around like a horse in a stall and just haul ass towards the door. And in the process of turning around, apparently he got hung up in my headset cord. And when he ran, he yanked the plug out of that USB adapter and bent the USB the part of the USB that actually goes into the computer. He actually bent that, and it completely. And my headphones stopped working. I could either at that point plug it into my computer and use them as headphones, or plug them into my computer and use them as a mic. I couldn't do both. So that freaking that fragged my ability to make videos. So I always try to keep 2 or 3 weeks worth of videos recorded in advance to whatever I'm posting. So if I post a video, I made this video like a week ago. I don't do a lot of current videos. This one's current. As soon as I'm done with it, I'll edit it and post it. But most of my game videos are, a week or two old by the time they hit the YouTube. So I wasn't too worried about the mic being broken. I can't make any videos right now. That's fine. I got a lot of other shit going on. I can take a break and just feed the channel with my stored archive of future videos. Well, time passed, and the next thing I know, I'm running out of videos. Oh shit! We don't have the money to go get another headphone right now. This Black Web gaming headset that she got me is not like horribly top of the line expensive, but it's also not like dirt cheap. You can't understand what I'm saying on YouTube quality crap. I mean, she actually spent good money on this headset. And I kind of felt bad that the dog busted it, but at the same time, the dog busted it. It's like I didn't do it. So I'm starting to freak out a little bit, but at the same time, like I said, I've got real life things going on. I've got Everdark's come back online, which I'm really excited about. My players seem to be enjoying it, so I'm kind of focused on that. My tabletop group's been down for a little bit because I got kind of burnt out on fantasy, and this campaign that I'm running is the pre-written campaign by the company who sells the game, and it's not put together very well. It's confusing as hell, and I just get so frustrated. I spend more time studying the material before I run it than I do actually running it. And with my stepson Tyler going to Job Corps, I just decided, we can set this campaign aside and only play it when he comes home. That way he's not missing anything because his character is a central part of the group. And, I can run the rest of the group on something else while he's in Job Corps when he's not able to attend. So I set the game aside and I was like, okay, well, I want to get away from fantasy for a little while. So let's work on some sci-fi. So I picked a system and I spent I downloaded the PDF and I spent like 2 months hand copying this PDF into a binder book that I created, and I only got about halfway through. It took a couple months to do it, but the only reason I'm hand printing this thing is because my printer doesn't work. I haven't had ink in this printer for a while, and even if we did have ink, there's something going on with it where it insists there's a paper jam, but there's no paper in it. Anyway, king of technical issues here. The point is, if I want something in paper format, because I hate referring to PDFs in a game, I have to write it down myself. So I spent 2 months writing this damn thing down. Then one of my tabletop kids, he's like, hey, I'll just print it out for you. I was like, oh, that's freaking awesome. You could have told me this 2 months ago. But anyway, I gave him a bunch of paper. I at least supplied the paper. But he went, and the next time he came up, he gave me this full PDF printed out, and there's like 300 sheets of paper. And I got it into a binder with sheet protectors and this and that. And I was writing an adventure specifically to introduce them to how the mechanics of this game worked, step by step. I actually wrote a campaign for Heroes Unlimited, a Palladium product, way back in the day, where I actually did that. You created your characters and learned how to play the game while playing the game. So, and that worked out really well, and everyone really enjoyed it, and they still talk about it. So I was like, I'm going to do the same thing with this system. I don't know Traveler. I've never run Traveler. I've heard it's like the king of the sci-fi games back in the day. People say nothing but good stuff about it. So I was like, I've always wanted to try it. The math's always intimidated me a little bit because I suck at math. But I figure if I'm going to write an adventure and slowly lead everyone into it, maybe that'll give me time to learn what I need to learn to run it as I'm writing. Well, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to introduce a combat scene in the first adventure to introduce everyone to how combat works. At which point I realized the combat system for Traveler hurts a fucking lot. It is entirely possible with a starter character, if you get shot by just a normal projectile firearm, it is possible that one shot will kill you. And we had just the weekend before spent 8 hours putting together characters for the group. I've got 6 or 7 people in the group. It took us almost an hour per character, a little less than an hour per character to put these characters together. And I'm sitting here thinking, there is no way in hell that I'm going to run an adventure and have everyone in my party wipe to make characters again after that. So I can't do that to them. So now running Traveler is not a good idea. So I was like, fuck. All right, well, I'm going to set this project to the side because there's got to be some home rule system, some home rules, something I can do to baby glove this mechanic enough to accommodate my game group and put some more survivability in there so that we can actually get some real enjoyment out of it. So I'm going to set it to the side. At this point, everybody in the group is just ecstatic about running this sci-fi spaceship, Star Trek / Star Wars / whatever, space cowboy freaking campaign. And I felt horrible because I was like, I'm sorry, guys, we can't do it. There's things I have to fix. So now I'm looking at, I still need something to run my tabletop group on, and I need to do it in a freaking hurry because I just wasted all my downtime working on this game. I'm probably never gonna run. I mean, I still intend to run it. So don't worry about that. It's just, I need to find the time to sit down and actually research the rules and then write an adventure. And in the meantime, I'm writing the adventure for a new system. It's just, I have to find time. I got so much going on right now. It's just crazy. I have to do what I can to squeeze things in here and there. It's chaos. So anyway, I've run this game called Deadlands Hell on Earth. Back in the day, before I moved up here to live with my fiance Tara and her son Tyler, I had a game group that I ran Deadlands with, and they loved it. I know the system frontwards and back. It's a post-apocalyptic nightmare style setting, so it's really easy for me to come up with ideas for adventures. And I haven't run it in a while. I ran like one Halloween. I ran like a one-shot adventure just because it was Halloween. But I'm sitting here thinking I need a new system to run my tabletop group on. I don't really want to sit down and try to learn something brand new. Deadlands is my game. It's my roots. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons Second Edition like everyone else, but when I started running Deadlands, that's when I started getting good, I felt, at being a game master. That's the game I was able to make players cry, make them shoot liquids out their nose laughing. Those were all my good memories of my game groups was from Deadlands. So I'm like, I'm just going to go back to Deadlands. We need something to run the table. I need something to run the tabletop group on. I've run them before. They all seem to enjoy it. Let's just do that. I don't have to waste all the time learning the rules. Now I can just spend that time writing the adventures in the campaign. Okay, so good. So I've been spending a lot of time working on that, creating the campaign. I've got an introductory adventure written. I'm basing the campaign in a place called Junkyard. So I went and created a map for Junkyard, and I keyed it out, and I went through and I took my Iron Oasis book, and I transferred a lot of information from that into my DM's notebook by hand. Just a lot of my time has been consumed with getting this tabletop game going again. And then on top of that, like I said, I've got Everdark that's back, so I'm going back through my Everdark campaign that's been completed for a long time. But I need to remind myself what's going on next and make sure I've got all the maps and everything I need in Roll20 because it is an online group. So I spend a lot of time doing that. And then I've got stuff like my typical housework. I got to keep the place picked up as best I can, and I've got doctor's appointments I need to start making for both my back pain and my depression and my anxiety. I need to get all this squared away so that I can get as much paperwork as possible put together, so that when I appeal for my disability, they've got more information to make their decision on, and this and that, and it's just been chaos. And then on top of that, you add in the fact that I got sick for a while. I get sick a lot. I'm not the healthiest person. I need to lose some weight. I've got sleep apnea. I've got diabetes. So I'm constantly getting sick or having some sort of back pain from my back. And that does affect my mood and my desire and motivation to actually do constructive things. So you add all of that together, it comes right back to the point that I started with in stating I'm sitting here and now all of my pre-recorded YouTube videos are gone. They're done posted. I am out of stuff to post. I've got a bunch of videos recorded that I need to go in and do commentary on, but I just haven't had the time to do it. So I was forced to go in and put that little banner up above that you see there. We're on vacation, channel's down, we'll have more videos back in the future. I full well intend to get back to the point, once I've got time to do it, I am going to commence continuing to put videos up because it's something I've discovered I enjoy doing. I like watching the little numbers next to subscriber and next to views continue going up because it makes me feel like I'm not wasting my time. Honestly, my subscribers haven't gone up in like months, but I don't really care. I'm still having fun posting it. I know for a fact that my closer friends actually watch the videos, and I traumatize them on occasion. But the whole point of this is I will be getting more videos posted when I can. It won't be too long. I know sometime this June I'm planning on going home to Oregon again to visit with my family for about a month. So of course I'll have downtime there and this and that. But once the tabletop game is up and going again, and I have time, I can take the time that I'm currently using to write their adventures in their campaign. I'll then be able to use that to refocus on playing games on the computer and making videos for you guys to watch. So until then, I appreciate you guys hanging in here with me. I may sit and do these chit chat rant videos, or not rants really, just random stupid nonsense chaos videos. Because A, it'll give me something to post. B, I really don't prep anything. I'm just sitting here staring at my Supernatural poster on the wall talking to you guys. So it doesn't take a lot of prep. So I'll probably put a couple of these up every now and then. But until then, like I said, I really do appreciate you guys' patience and hanging in there. And I do appreciate you all. So what inspired me to create this video this time was one of my good friends, Cool Man Majama. He's one of the kids that plays in my tabletop group. He's got a YouTube channel of his own, and he's recently posted a batch of videos. And I got up this morning and I was drinking my coffee, and I noticed he had one that was kind of focused on how he started role playing. Well, of course I watched that because I know how he started role playing. He started role playing through me and my tabletop group. So I was kind of interested to sit back and listen to some of the nostalgia talk about things that he remembered doing and having fun with. And um, he actually started off talking about how he joined the group and how he missed a month because he was helping his grandma move, and then he just didn't show up for a couple game sessions because he didn't feel like it, or he just forgot or whatnot. And I'm sitting there listening and tell this story, and I'm remembering how it went from my perspective, and I'm sitting here thinking, God, this kid thinks I'm a Nazi like Hitler or something. He's making, and I realized from his perspective, I was communicating. I didn't know him that well back then. None of us really did. All I knew about Mama Jamma there was that he was my stepson's friend, like his best friend. And I knew he had role played with us a few times in the past. And seemed to have fun with it. It was cool to me that my stepson had friends who shared interest with him, and I'm really about, I remember when I was his age role playing with my group. Those are the memories that I look back on, and I wish I could relive, and I wish I could duplicate I wish I had this level of fun, and I had all these memories, and now as an adult, as his parental figure, I want to recreate this for him, to let him experience something similar to it, leave these memories with these kids, pass the hobby down. So, it was really cool that we had the beginning of this group with Cool Mama Jamma and my stepson. Of course, as Cool Mama Jamma pointed out, my fiance was playing. So we were really trying to maintain a cohesive group. And we were struggling because so far at that point, the only two people that I knew for sure were going to show up were my fiance and her son. So the problem with most role-playing games is it is a group activity. You need a group of 4 or 5 people, ideally, to run a consistent game. And we were really struggling to find a couple more people to round out the group. And back then we were role playing every weekend, so it was kind of hard for a lot of people that we brought into the group to commit to the game at that level. So, like I said, I didn't know Anthony too well. I knew he was Tyler's friend. Oops, I spilled Cool Mama Jamma's name. My bad. Sorry, dude. You did it to me though. Or Tyler. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm ranting here, rambling. So anyway, he went and helped his aunt move for a month, or his grandma or something like that. And he told us about it. We knew about it, so we took some downtime. Um, But then we knew he was done and he got back and he just like we didn't see or hear anything from him the next weekend. We were all looking forward to gaming after a month down, and Anthony was going to come over and we were going to sit and role play. He knew we were role playing as far as we knew, but he didn't show up. And so we're like, okay, well, something must have happened. It's kind of a bummer, but life happens. So I will just reschedule for next weekend. And I told Tyler, see if Anthony's going to play with us. And I'm kind of communicating through Tyler with Anthony, and I don't know what got garbled or whatnot, but the point is he missed another game session. We wanted him back, but he missed another game session, and we're at the point, like I said, I don't know him very well. He's seeming a little flaky, which to me, at my age, all of you youngsters are flaky. You don't focus on anything for too long. You like you guys playing your video games. You're like, oh, this video game's awesome, blah blah blah. It's like all you talk about, and then the next best thing comes out, and that thing you were talking about before is obsolete, and it was dumb, and like why bother? This is what's cool now, old man. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, he's doing other things. We need to find somebody who is going to be able to commit to the group and attend as many games as possible for the group's sake so that we can play on a fairly regular basis. And it wasn't so much that he didn't show up that bothered us. It was the fact that he didn't tell us. We were assuming he was going to show up, and like we would be sitting around waiting for him to show up, and he'd just never show up. And I told Tyler, tell Anthony if he's going to game with us, we don't care if he misses games. Life happens. You got to do what you got to do. He's got homework he's dealing with. He's in this I can't remember what the name of the ROTC or whatever it is. He has his own life. All I ask is that if we're going to schedule a game for everyone to get together and he can't make it and he knows in advance, drop us a phone call. Let Tyler know something so that we know he's not going to show up. And he just no showed a couple times, and now I understand why. But back then I didn't. It was just there was no communication because we weren't that close. He was just Tyler's friend, and I was just Tyler's dad. So it was kind of frustrating because he wouldn't say anything. He just wouldn't show up, and I'm thinking, okay, he's just not dependable. He may be a good kid, but we need somebody who's going to show up at least half of the time to game with us, and he's not doing it. So we're trying to put together a game group so that we can run games without you guys dying all the time because you don't have a big enough group. So eventually it got to the point where he started coming over on a regular basis, and now the kid won't miss a game session. If you could pull his arms and legs off, and he would drag himself to my house with his tongue to make a game session. He is, other than Tara and Tyler, for the longest time, he is one of the loyalest, most freaking diehard gamer that you could imagine. I mean, there was never, after a while, there was no questioning. Anthony will be here. And if he isn't, he'll let us know why. So he got really good about it. It's just in the beginning, it was kind of like, we don't know you, what's going on. But anyway, it does me good to see that he's interested in running games of his own. It makes me feel even better that he's trying to run my game like the one I'm most proud of running. So that's kind of cool. I'd kind of hoped Tyler, or my stepson Tyler, would pick up the gaming and I could pass it down to him, like stepfather to son type thing. But as Cool Mama Jamma, aka Anthony, pointed out, he is basically our adopted kid. So passing the hobby down to him, pretty much the same thing. So, but now the other kids, Alex and Haphazardness, I'm not going to spill his name like I've spilled everybody else's because, I mean, we got to have some secrets, right? Right. All right. Anyway, the point is, they're all respectively taking on running games for their own groups, and it makes me feel good because I'm kind of sitting here thinking if it wasn't for me introducing them to the hobby and helping them grow their passion for the hobby, maybe they wouldn't be spreading it to their friends and their generation. And so it makes me feel that my time spent writing these adventures and running them, and has been well worth it. As he pointed out, we did have a bit of a rough patch a while back. Nobody's fault, really. I mean, we had the core group We bounced around systems a little bit. We played, as he pointed out, we played second edition and Deadlands for a little bit, and it was my fiance Tara, her son Tyler, Anthony, aka Cool Man Majama. Sorry, kid, I keep doing it. I'm not gonna worry about it anymore. You know my old brain, and we had the fourth player was just somebody who kept coming and going. Every 3 or 4 game sessions we'd have to try somebody else out. It was starting to feel like uh, we were having applications, like people would come in and we would test them and see, are you going to fit with this group or are you going to work out? Oh, you haven't showed up in a month, so nope, sorry. We need a fourth person who's going to stick around and commit to the group and to the game at some level. So eventually, Tyler, my stepson, came home one day and he's like, "Hey, I met this kid at Anime Club and he's really cool and he wants to join the group." And I'm like, "Okay, get his ass over here." So that's when haphazardness joined us. Haphazardness, and as Cool Mama Jammas pointed out there, for the first few game sessions, he really was pissing a lot of people off. Just the way he played his character, like he was trying to play a character that worked with the group, but he wanted to be evil at the same time. So he sometimes the things he did just like, oh man. But anyway, we have our fourth person, and we get Pathfinder. We want to play some fantasy, but I'm sick and tired of second edition. That's where my roots are, but it's broken. Let's face it. You can be as loyal as you want to second edition, but if you're being honest, you have to admit it's got issues. So second edition's great. That's where all my memories come from, but broken as hell. So we get Pathfinder. And it's a pretty good system. We're getting into it. It's running pretty smooth. Everyone's having fun. Our four-person team's working together good. And then Alex, Tyler's cousin, I'm not cousin, nephew. I don't know exactly. I don't remember. I have problems remembering how that whole dynamic of family relations works like that. I always get the nephews and cousins and all of that shit mixed up. But anyway, Tara, my fiance, her best friend Angela, they kind of grew up together. They're basically sisters. Angela's son, so he's not like blood related as far as I know, but it's he is family. They are family because that's just the way it works. Anyway, he took an interest. He's gotten to the age where he's like, he wants to get in and play the game and experience it. He always hears Tyler talking about it, and so we go ahead and we let him in, and he clicks, and of course he's new to role playing, and he's new to the group, so he goes through the whole hazing process of being the new guy, and things are clicking and working good. But the problem is Tara and I are the adults, and all of the rest of the group are middle school to high school aged boys. And they're all new to gaming. Tara and I have a background since we were their age of gaming. Gaming is the same as it's always been, but also there are a lot of things that have changed about it. And Tara and I both have our own perspective of how games should run and how groups should work together and how things should be done because of what we've experienced and what we grew up knowing as being role playing. And so Tara and I, a lot of times, we're both very passionate about it. We would argue. I mean, we still today argue on occasion about role playing. And back in the day, it would get really heated. A lot of times, it would end up we would be arguing in front of the kids. Tara's problem is that uh, she didn't seem to grasp the whole concept. In role playing, there is one fundamental, basic rule that all players should at least acknowledge, and that is that the dungeon master or the game master is always right. A lot of players misconstrue this rule as being a power trip. I am the guy running the game, therefore I am God. You must worship me and do everything I say. No, that's not necessarily what the dungeon master is always right is about. That rule is about consistency, flow, group cohesion, immersion. When you're sitting at a table and you disagree with the dungeon master about a rule calling, you don't think it's fair, or you get confused about what's going on, it's always okay to ask what's going on, or to say, hey, can I do this, or I think I should be able to do this. But if the dungeon master makes a decision, you do not argue that decision in game. You wait until after the game and then you go talk to the dungeon master about it. Because if you get into this argument or this discussion with the dungeon master about why they made the decision they made, you are taking time from the rest of the group's ability to play the game. And then they have to sit there and listen to you discuss something completely unrelated. And like I said, it kills immersion. But at the same time, it's understandable, that when you're a player and you have something you're trying to do and you don't feel you're being understood or you don't understand, you want that information because it helps you enjoy the game. So the problem, Tara and I would feel like she was arguing with me and stalling the game. It would irritate me. We'd get in fights. It would end games. It didn't happen all the time, but it happened frequently enough that every time it happened after that, it grew more and more agitating to me as the game master because it just didn't seem she could grasp the concept. And I came close to quitting running tabletop games several times because we just could not find a happy medium. Uh, but that's relationships for you. I love my fiance to death, and I'm not going to let something like that ruin what we have. And we have since then slowly begun to get a better sense of. She's getting a better sense of how I run games, and I'm getting a better sense of what she expects from a game. So we're starting to come together. Things are smoothing out. Well, now the problem is Tara is the only adult player at the tabletop. She's feeling a little left out. All the boys are hanging out, joking with each other, bonding, but there's this generation gap. They respect me and listen to me because I'm the guy telling the story. But as a player, she's kind of feeling a little off to the side. Well, like I said, her and her friend Angela used to role play together all the time. Now, Angela's son, Alex, is playing with our group. So now Angela is hearing about all the game sessions. And she's, I imagine she's starting to reminisce about her good old glory role playing days. So she asks, can I join the group? And the problem is, or was, at that point, we had a full group. And I am leery about adding more people to a group because the more people you get, the bigger your group gets, the less time each individual in that group has. When you're running a game as a dungeon master, you want each of your players to have the chance to stand out and to have fun and feel like they are participating and have their time in the limelight. And the more people you add to the group, the less time each of them gets. Plus, the more individuals you have in the group, the more time has to be spent on allowing that group to become a cohesive unit, to get to know each other. And it's surprising to me these days, most role players want to play individuals. They want to play that guy with the mysterious past who has problems, feeling comfortable and trusting other people. They want to play that dark, brooding, mysterious hero. And when you have 5 or 6 dark, brooding, mysterious heroes, you do not have a group. So you spend a lot of time trying to break through all those walls and get people to bond together. And then you have people like my stepson who has the worst luck whatsoever, and his characters keep dying off. So now the bond that his character had with the rest of the group is gone, and he's got to start over. And then we have people joining the group and falling out of the group. Those bonds are messing with everybody. So I appreciate that Tara wants to have Angela play because they're of the same age. They grew up role playing together. It gives her someone to talk to. And it gives Angela a chance to hang out and bond with her son a little bit because she's working all the time. Um, so she can hang out with her son and get to know her son's friends and spend time with Tara and with Tyler. And so I have no problem letting her join the group. I'm just a little bit hesitant because I don't know what it's going to do to the group dynamic. We finally got to the point where everything was starting to smooth out. The game was running like clockwork. Things were going good. I don't know what adding somebody else to the group's going to do. Eventually, however, we decided, okay, we'll let Angela join. and it worked pretty good for a couple game sessions. But as Cool Mama Gemma pointed out, it turned to shit quick. And every time we got together, it got worse. And this is nobody's direct fault. The problem that I did not foresee is now I have got two experienced role players who were brought up together, role playing under a game master who does things a little bit different than me. So they're both used to the way they remember things going. And then I've got the boys. So there is the generation gap still there, but now there's like more balance. The teams are more evenly matched. So eventually, it would get to the point where we would literally have the game would break down into an argument between teams. We were not playing Dungeons and Dragons. We were playing you're not playing your character right versus shut up and let me play the game. And it was basically it was innocent. Tara and Angela were basically trying to help the boys share their experience with how the game should be done with the boys. Teaching them the basics like stick together, don't break up the party. Your alignment wouldn't do this. Your class should be played a little bit more like this because that's what it was designed to be. And then all the boys are hearing are, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, do it this way, stop being stupid, you guys are annoying me. And it would always devolve into just 4 hours 5 hours of arguing, and tensions would get high and people would get pissed off, and it took our group a long time to become cohesive again. Right now, with the way the group stands, everybody gets along, everybody's comfortable with each other. I've got the perfect game group right now. Yeah, they do stupid shit on occasion. Yeah, individually, a couple of the boys can be a little unpredictable, and they do shit that makes the rest of us sit there and scratch our heads going, what the fuck just happened? Yeah, it can devolve into a fit of people just laughing their asses off. It's fun. That's the point of the game. But the point is, it took us a while to get our group dynamic back to that point. And I think every game group is like that. When you get a group of people together and they all want to be the center of attention, they want their characters to be the hero, the center of attention. They want to feel like the story is wrapping around them. When you read a book, the book is about the characters. When you play a role playing game as a character, you want the story to be about you. And when you have other characters at the table, other players controlling those characters who want the story to be about them, it does become a bit of a wrestling match about who gets the limelight when. And, it's tricky as a dungeon master, to make sure everyone feels like they are important and get the chance to participate. So, we had our issues, but it all did level out. Anywho, this is turned into a much longer one-sided conversation here than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to actually wrap this one up. I did, however, enjoy sitting here chatting about things. As I said, I may, until I can actually sit down and start making actual videos again, I may do some of these frequently. I've got plenty of stories I can tell about my role-playing days. I'm an old man now, damn it. And old men like to sit around and tell stories about, well, I remember back when I was your age, we didn't have oxygen, we breathed dirt, or stupid shit like that. I got lots of memories about growing up and role-playing and shit like that. I got memories about being an adult running games and the stupid shit my players used to do. So I may sit down and start, recording some of these memories so that when I'm older, like tomorrow, and senile, and I don't remember anything, I can sit and listen to myself and sit and go, hey, this guy's a fucking idiot. But anyway, for now, this has been your host, DM Renavion, saying, until next time, you guys stay safe, and you have fun. I'm out.